Hi, everybody. Good morning, one and all present here. I extend a warm welcome to all those who gathered here today, including our esteemed teachers, parents, and students. The Dharmanaidu Educational and Charitable Trust established the SA Engineering College, Veeraraghapuram, Thiruverkadu in the year of 1998, which has NBA aggregated departments and NAC A grade certification. The college maintains high standards of education by providing a wide array of world class academic facilities, employing highly qualified and experienced faculty members, and creating an ambience conducive to quality education in an environment of discipline. The college stand is not only on mere acquisition of course knowledge and its application, but also on all around personality development of the student and his value system. The purpose of education is to make a good human beings with the skill and expertise enlightened by human beings, which is created by our teacher, said by our beloved Honorable President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. The college offers 11 UG programs and 6 PG programs in that the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering organizing Tech Series 4.14 on career path for electrical engineers. For commencing this event, I would like to express our gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. H. Mohammad Imran, for joining us. We privileged to have such a successful architect in our midst. His his career growth or his highlights, he completed his Bachelor of Electrical and Electronics Engineering in Anna University, Chennai in 2009. And he's worked as senior software engineer in Arcent. Then he switched his path as Nokia full-timer from February 2013 to September 2020. Then he completed his Masters of Technology M.Tech Computing System and Infrastructure at Birla Institute of Technology and Science, which we called as BITS Planning. Now at present he is working on Radius Corporation on 5G RAN virtualization for distributed unit and centralized unit architecture. With very great pleasure, we welcome you, sir. Your valuable time for us shows your profound dedication towards your growth. I would like to hand over this event section to Imran, sir. Please, sir.
Can someone confirm me? Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Hello, am I audible to everyone? Can somebody confirm there in the bridge? Hello? Okay, so I think it is confirmed. Yeah. So I was checking the private chat. Okay, so let me start ahead with my presentation. Okay. Okay, so today I am going to cover the career path for the electrical engineering. So, what are all the job opportunities available in the market if you complete the electrical engineering course, right? So, that is what I'm going to cover here in the overall thing. So, let me go to the start ahead, right? So before that, I just wanted to give some brief introduction about myself and my role in the current area of work. So as I already the anchor has already given my introduction about the colleges and all. So I just wanted to give a brief introduction about the area of work. So I have an experience of about 15 years into the industry now. So my area of work is majorly into the telecommunication sector, where we develop software and also we ship the hardware for both 4G, 5G, and even going forward the 6G technologies, right? So this is the area of work which I'm currently into, and this is what I am majorly working on. So I'll touch upon these areas also, where what are all the job opportunities around these areas as well, to give a brief introduction about it. Okay. So this is what it is. I think the questions and answers we can take it at the last. Maybe let me walk through the presentation and then we can have the questions at the last. Okay. So let me start ahead. Okay, so what is the basic requirement and how do we do the professional advancement once you are into the job, right? So this is a basic, very high level view of it. Okay, so first, as you know, like for any electrical jobs or electrical electronics related oriented jobs, the basic requirement is minimum the electrical engineering degree, which is needed, and also this opportunities, right? You have in wide areas of sectors with respect to electrical engineers. People think that electrical engineers are more specific to electrical oriented jobs, but I will touch upon what are the areas which people can also have a look around the other areas of the sectors where you can get more job opportunities as well. Okay. And one such sector is the telecommunication, apart from the power sector, which many electrical engineers might know. And there are other sectors like health sectors and also the aviation sectors. We have multiple sectors where we need the electrical engineers. And how do we do the professional advancement once you are into the once you maybe people might do their basic UG graduation, and also they might join into the job, and after that post graduation some people do, they some people they don't do, and still people are motivated to do much more education aspect and to advance themselves in the professional area of work, right? So so for those aspects, there are a lot of certifications around it, and which we can on the job do it and then enhance our careers. Even now, even with respect to PhD also, BITS Pilani has come up with a variant where even when you are doing with the work, right, you can still do the PhD, right? So there are various options to enrich your learnings, right? Once you are into the job, and you can enhance your learnings aspect as well. So this is the overall view of the electrical engineer, and also going into the jobs, how do they can advance themselves, right, with respect to the learning aspect. Okay, so let's have a view about first what is this electrical engineering, how it has arrived, and also what are all the sectors around it. So initially, right, the we can see the electrical engineering is a mother of all other branching engineering aspects which has come in, and you can see in the recent aspects, right? So electrical engineering is a very core of it. So the telecommunication, electronics, control systems, right, power signal and signal processing, instrumentation, all these other engineering streams has branched out from the electrical engineering based on the advancement, because in itself has some separate and big role into the technological advancement, right? And that's why these all things are branched out as a separate engineering courses as such. But as such, the core thing is electrical engineering, because the learning which you get out of the electrical engineering is a mandatory, so that it helps us to learn about the other things much more easier and much more friendlier fashion. Okay, so that's why the electrical engineering is very core of it. Okay. Okay. So here I wanted to first touch upon two of the major sectors in the industries, which is basically providing many of the engineering jobs, which because I'll not be able to cover all the sectors which I am, which is applying the electrical engineering. I'll just touch upon some of the major things which is covered as part of this uh, career path for the electrical engineering. So one of the two sectors which I wanted to show you is the energy sector, basically the power sectors, and also the telecommunication sector. So where I am more into the telecommunication sector. Okay. So the power sector also I wanted to touch upon, and what are all the job opportunities left in there, what all to acquire it. So the in the energy and utilities area, right, you have various sectors with respect to the power generation and also the distribution, and also there are a lot of renewable energy things which is getting recently coming in places, right? You can see. So we have a lot of job opportunities around that area as well. Okay. And with respect to the telecommunication as such, right, we have a lot of the network infrastructure starting from your mobile, right, mobile handset, where you have your mobile, and there is some piece of software which is running in the mobile handset, right, and also the hardware chipsets where that is being used for to run the softwares, and also a lot of hardware sensors getting installed into that to act it, right. So all those things are needed, and also the to communicate with the mobile, we need a backend network which is continuously running 24/7 to serve you always, to communicate with other people, and you wanted to see the mobile data streams, everything, right. So our complete thing is controlled in the background with respect to the network infrastructure which is available in the backend of the network which is serving your needs. So these are the two key areas which I wanted to touch upon first, and I wanted to show you what are all the job opportunities which is available in the market with respect to these two areas to initially. Okay. Okay. So let's see about the power sector opportunities, especially in India, right? So now India has become the largest producer and the consumer of the electricity because of the growing population, right? This statistics is taken in 2023, and now it is still further more. And the number of population, you already know, right? It has already crossed 140 crores or something, right? So to meet all the growing needs, right, we need a house, not only for the home, and also many of the energy sectors which is getting developed, right. We need a lot of power to even for the computers to daily run, right. More and more computers are getting purchased, and more software industry is getting evolved, and you need a power to run this, basically. That is which is a basic unit, right. So with this growing in increase in the electrification, right, the power sector consumption, the power energy consumption is going to increase, and year on year, right. And this is the projection is as per 2023, the projection was around 9.5% of growth was there, and similarly now also we can see the growth has increased tremendously. And this is the growing demand which is needed within India itself. What is that that is needed to match this power energy things, right, which is needed. And with respect to the opportunities available, right, there are a lot of opportunities available in the market with respect to the power sectors. If you see in the budget of 2024, the government power sector initiative has allocated almost 50% of the total funds, especially for the green gases, which is getting energized, because we wanted to not affect the because of the coal, the atmospheric things which we are damaging, right, which we wanted to avoid it, right. So to avoid those things, we wanted to go generate the energy which is more greener, so that we generate environment friendly energy, right, to consume. So there are various opportunities which is surrounding which is available in the market: green hydrogen, solar power, and also many other things which is under exploration. And right, these all the things which is more and more attractive for the electrical sector to get more jobs in those areas. And if you especially see, right, the renewable energy sector is seen as a future thing, right. And we wanted to completely replace this coal based energy sector with the renewable energy by 2026. This is the Indian government has kept as a target, right, so that going forward we wanted to reach this so that we go much greener. Okay, so this clearly tells there are a lot of opportunities in the power sector within India itself, right? And government is also doing some policies, suggesting some policies, which is helping to support these needs. And they have allowed 100% of FDIs to boost this energy sector. And also they have introduced the various schemes, right? There is one PM Suryagar Muft Bijli Yojana is a government scheme which was introduced in February 15, 2024, right? So there, the main intention is every household should have the solar power. So if every household is having their own solar power, then their needs of electricity will be consumed by themselves, which is local to them, so that they can consume around 300 units of energy by themselves, which they are installing the solar power. So now we can see more and more such get houses are getting built with this. Even in the recent buildings which is getting constructed across Bangalore where I live, I see more and more solar panels are built as part of the planning itself, so that more energy is getting generated as part of the solar panel also, right? And there are two other schemes. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Jyoti Yojana is another scheme where it is designed to give the continuous power, right, to the electrical, to the rural India, very rural areas of the country, right? They wanted to provide the energy, right? So even for that, right, we need more and more energy to reach every corner of the world, right? And next is this IPDS. So this is also one of the integrated power development scheme, which is also one of the scheme which has been supported by the government to strengthen this power sector area, right? And their intention is to basically to meterize all the transformers, feeders, and all the consumers with a digitally enabled meters, more and more digitally enabled, and it can be controlled. And since now mobile has come in place, so that it can notify the users on on the need basis itself. So it will be more and more useful for the users to get it more inline data with respect to the daily feeds, towards which the government is also working on. Okay. And also see, we can see the projection going forward also. We are seeing much more investments are expected in this area, right? So that the sector is going to grow more and more. Okay, so here's some of the data, the which is collected from the 2023 perspective. So, right, the in power, the around 17 billion US dollars were being seen as the FDI inflow for the power sectors. Okay, so these are all just things which clearly tells there is a lot of opportunities within the power sector, and what are all the schemes which the government is implementing to support this from the various perspective, right? Yeah, let's go on to this. So this is the general overview of the power system. I think most of you are already aware about this. You have a generation unit, you have a transformer protection unit, and also you have a transmission unit, and also there is a substation, which is enabled with more and more automation, and ultimately it goes to the consumer, right? So this is a overall view of the power picture. But what are all the things which is jobs around this, right? So if you see, there is a design sector where we wanted to design the before the actual implementation of the substation. Assume you wanted to implement a substation, right? So for that, the previously blindly implementing the substation with the hardware itself, it will be very costly, right? So there are a lot of software tools which has been available in the market now, so with which you can prototype this design, and then you can check whether whatever the intended results we are achieving it or not. Okay, so uh, these kind of things comes under the design sector, and there are a lot of tools available in the market, and there are some programming knowledge little bit is needed to implement this area of the sector, right? Where you can get a jobs more in the design section. Okay. And if you see the production, right, the production environment and the actual production you have a this installation and commissioning, and also the operation management. So there are a lot of opportunities with respect to the engineers, where they are responsible for the installation of the actual network, and also the commissioning, and also validating whether this hardware is enough to meet our needs, right? And that portion of it also has a lot of sectors. And ultimately, after the production rate, there is one more sector which is missing in this slide. I guess the in the previous slide you can if you see, there is a substation automation, right? This is the control engineering, control system engineers, where you have a lot of automations which can be built in into the system to remotely monitor all the entities, generation unit, transformer unit, and also the transmission line units, right? Everywhere we can have a little bit of software sitting in every piece and corner of it, and we can monitor a lot of entities in that sector, and we can uniquely determine what has to be done. Okay, and even this is available from the controls section, and this will help us to see from the various view how these job market is getting evolved, right? This the most recent trend is in the automation side, where more and more we wanted to stabilize with respect to the automation point, right? With more and more control systems getting generated in place, recent news. And then your general things, right, with respect to the management, the maintenance, once the commissioning is done and it is already in operational state, we have to continuously monitor about these stations which is running, and also we have to continuously check for the any failures and replace it accordingly. So in that sector also, there are a lot of opportunities for the engineers to work upon. Apart from these, right, there are some management aspect of it, and also where you can do some quality checks as per the standards. Every country has their own quality standards to meet their needs with respect to each of the sectors, right? And whether the device is met with that standard or not as per the specifications which is defined, and it is not affecting the environmental things. So for all those things, right, there is a specific requirements which has to be met, and each of these things are catered under the different roles, and different people work under these sectors as well. Okay, and this planning portion is majorly during the initial transmission deployment phase, where once your design is approved and you're approved to install this system into the field, then you can have this transmission manager planning, and also the project manager who can manage this for the entire cycle. If there are some third parties involved, then they have to interact with them and then coordinate for the complete deployment, the overall cycle of it, the implementation. Okay, so some of the major companies which is into these areas with respect to the private sector and also the government and PSUs, right? Some of the things are listed here. If you see the power sector, ABB, GE, KEC, Siemens, Bajaj, these are the major players. I have listed only few. These are some of the major players in the market with respect to the power sectors. And even if you see the government sector, right, you have BHEL, NTPC, ONGC, and many other public sector units, the power grid, right? Yeah. So basically, these are all the things with respect to the power sector as such. Okay. Now let's come to the another area of sector where there are a lot of opportunities around it. So this area is more about the telecom industry, right? So if you see the overall trend with respect to the this 2023 to 2024, this trend is the telecom industry has more hiring people, right, with respect to the software when compared to the other areas of the work, right, when compared to the hardware and the software fields, right? These financial services, media, right, travel, hospitality. Apart from these sectors, right, telecom industry is seen as one of the key thing in the future. Okay, and the even during the COVID times, if you realize, right, the telecom sector is one of the sector where it has not stopped earning money, right? Because everyone wants to communicate, and they wanted to start working from the mobile, right, and also the laptops via the internet, right? So these things are still now it has become part and parcel of, right? Nowadays people are having more than one mobile and more than one laptop, right? So to meet these contents, right, we have to have this telecommunication sector very strong, which we need a lot of engineers in that area who is capable of understanding the electrical and electronics terminologies with respect to these, right? It's not a plain software as such. It's not a plain coding which computer science people alone can fit, right? So there are a lot of domain knowledge which is needed to sit into these sectors. That's why the electrical engineers, electrical electronic engineers are given preference even in the telecommunication sector. Okay. And if you see the growth higher intent in 2023 to 24, right, it has increased to some percent. And also this is what we wanted to see going forward also. And now also we are seeing some increment in with respect to the hiring with respect to the telecommunication sector, because a lot of internet of things is coming in place, where each and every object which we is available in the market, right, we wanted it to communicate with each other, so that we can interact and provide much more efficient piece of communication, not only to human which we are doing now, even human to machines, human to anything, right? That is what we are trying to achieve going forward, right? So that is the reason, like, this sector is also one of the growing industries in the market, which has to be unleashed. Okay. Okay. So this is just the trend which has been shown with respect to sector by sector, and what are all the industries and what is its growth with respect to 2022 to 2023, and also 2023 to 2024, right? So this growth trend, you can see the telecommunication sector is always on the top with respect to the other areas of the intention of hiring. Okay. And if you within India, right, if you see the top tier cities which is more concentrated with respect to the telecommunication industries as such, right, the Mumbai is majorly a financial hub, right? So more and more financial services are getting served in the city of Mumbai. But when compared to Bangalore is more oriented towards the telecommunications, where we have a lot of telecommunication companies in this Bangalore, right? So within India, this is one of the perspective where we see a lot of opportunities in the telecom sectors as such. And then comes Delhi. So Delhi is more of the IT hubs, right, where you have more and more software technologies which is coming in place. Okay, so within telecommunication sector, right, what are all the areas which can be looked upon? If you see telecom communication in a smaller view, right, if you see, so there is opportunities in the semiconductor, because semiconductor chips manufacturers, right, they need some of the people who is an electrical electronics engineer, right? So for their manufacturing, commissioning and commissioning of the chips, installation, and also the validation of the chips, right? So for all these things, the electrical engineers are needed, right? So this is one portion of the telecommunication where people are looked at. And also the telecommunication network, apart from the semiconductors in the telecommunications, we have the telecom network as such, which is serving the uh, UEs, right? Basically the mobiles, handsets, right? So for that complete infrastructure, we need the people who is capable enough to understand the terminologies within this system, right? And if you see the and other wireless domains and wired domains, right? So those are the two. I think, yeah, the slide they have mentioned wireline and wireless, right? So those are the other two sectors where we need a understanding with respect to the wireline and wireless technologies which is available in the market. If you see your I think the communication engineering is all communication systems is one of the subject you might have studied in the engineering. Even I had studied in my electrical electronics time. So that is one of the key area for the telecommunication things, to understand the basics about it, right? And another thing is with respect to the network infrastructure, like routers, switches, right? Those are all the hardware pieces which is involving the network stacks. That aspects also, there are a lot of electrical engineers who understands from the protocol aspects with respect to the specifications, right? So we recruit some most majority of the people in that area as well. Okay, so apart from these, right, the right hand side is more and more with respect to the technologies as such, which is specified WiMAX and WCDMA technologies. And here, left hand side, if you see, there are the other areas like the traditional areas like sales and project management and account management. So those are all the other areas of the work as such, generalized. And bottom two things are more specific to the software, which is NMS and telecommunication billings, or more with respect to the software piece of bundle. Okay, so here I'm not sure this is how visible. So I tried to collect a bigger view of it, and then I wanted to show you about this overall picture of how the telecommunication architecture looks like, right? Similar to the power system which I showed, right? So here, if you see, apart from the mobile, you would not have seen much of the backend network, how it is working, right? So if you see that perspective, right, there are a lot of systems which I have mentioned here, right? There is a center cloud, edge cloud, they are terming it as, right? Now, with respect to the cloud technologies, it is you are seeing a tower, right, and next to your house buildings, where, or some of your friends' housemate, there will be a single tower which will be sitting, correct? So from the tower, initially, right, there will be one box which is sitting next to your building itself. That will be collecting the data and it will be feeding to the center. Now, since more and more the users has come in, right, and we wanted to interact with more and more devices, more and more hardwares, more and more human things, we need to support all those needs with respect to the increase in capacity, and we have to leverage the, without leveraging the latency part, right, which we wanted to provide the customer with lesser time period. So what the recent things has done with respect to the Amazon coming in place, where they are the major contributors of the cloud, right? Now it has become a strategy, like each and every regions, or they will segregate the regions, and they will have one more house station set up, and that majority of the hardware things, right, which will be sitting in that room, and it will be controlled to different regions. Like if you consider sitting in Chennai, right? Chennai is your major hub. Then Saidapet, one region. This is to just to give a view. Saidapet, one region, and another one is like Kolsravakkam, one region, right? Two, three areas we can have a different edge cloud sitting in these areas, which can consolidate all the consumers of these, and then it can functionally it can feed the information to the centralized cloud, right? And if you see within these, right, in these boxes, assume, let's have a view on this central cloud, center cloud, right? You have view about this, they call it as EPC and all they have mentioned, right? You can forget about this. What this means is, basically, there is a piece of hardware and software which is sitting there, which is going to serve your mobile, right, in more and more generic fashions with a much more speed. That is what this industry is evolving towards. So if you see this 5G 6G technology, right, which is the upcoming technology, so there also we are more concentrated around the higher speed with more devices with low latency, which we are trying to achieve. That is the direction which we are moving towards. And if you see this sector, right, if I can break it, you can see there is one more 4G UE, 5G UE I had mentioned, right, in the slides. So these corresponds to the EV, and then the box which is sitting next to it is the tower which you are seeing. Okay, so this is one of the key area where the radio engineers or the L1, the physical layer, right, where we have a much more better understanding with respect to the power, right, power consumption, and how it is to be optimally consumed. So this is one of the area where electrical engineers are majorly recruited, where they can understanding, and they have better understanding with respect to the power optimization, power control, right, with respect to these aspects. So this is one is the radio sector, and another one is the backend networks, which we call it as the now in recent terminologies they call it as radio network, with the display DU, distributed architecture. Okay, DU and CU, and backend network is traditional backhaul network, which we wanted to maintain as it is. So these are all the evolutions which is happening with respect to these areas, with respect to different technologies, by leveraging the cloud technologies. And this is going to replace, this cloud technology is not a single technology which is going to sit only for the telecommunication sector. Even for multiple sectors, right? People are more and more interested to work majorly from the um, uh, uh, remotely to have this service. Nobody is going forward. What I'm seeing is there won't be any laptops also. It will be just a monitor which will be given, with which you can be able to log in and work remotely with all these data centers available, right? So that is the way in which the world is evolving into. Okay, so this is just to give a bird's eye view about the technology sectors, this telecom sectors, where all the work areas would be. We have this telecommunication infrastructure, which is one of the major area with respect to whatever I explained in the previous slide, with respect to the radio, with respect to the backhaul networks, right? So those are all the areas which we wanted to recruit the peoples in the telecommunication sectors for the electrical engineers. And also there are operators like mobile operators like Airtel, Vodafone, you have, right? So all those mobile data vendors, operators, who's also wanted a people who is having an understanding with respect to these areas, and other regular things with respect to support and billing and telecom things, right? Which is also available as like any other markets. And this data center is now becoming a trend for every sectors which is coming in place. Okay. Okay, so this is some of the telecommunication companies which is across the globes, which I had mentioned in these slides, where like Virgin Mobiles and Reliance Mobile, Aircel. So these are all major telecom vendors across the world, right? The Etisalat in Dubai, right? And Saudi Telecom and Zain in Saudi. So these are all some of the major telecommunication operators who would be expecting some of the people in these electrical and electronics sectors. Okay, so apart from these, right, these two are the major markets which I wanted to show you, right? And there are other markets in the for the electrical engineers as such. So this is one is the electronics market with respect to the medical devices, right? And now more and more medical devices are getting evolved, especially in case of like therapies, right? You have a speech therapy and hearing therapy. Some people will not be able to hear, right? So how we can support them with more and more electronic and electric devices with which it can help, right, for the people. So that is also one of the things which is looked at, right? And that is also one of the booming thing which is going to be looked forward. So if you see the statistics, the current market value as per 2022 is 154.5 billion US dollars, and it is expected to grow by 298 billion by 2032. So almost 6.5% growth is expected. And if you see segment-wise statistics, the clinical end-to-end segment with respect to the major devices, whatever the currently example, the Siemens provides majority of the end-to-end segments, right? There, even Philips, some of the guys, they are already market leaders. So they provide a bunch of these sectors, and that is also expected to grow by 45.5 billion by 2032. Okay, and this therapeutic segment is one of the recent advancement techniques, which is also expected to grow beyond. And another thing is this aviation thing. Okay, so even in the aviation, we need electrical engineers, right, with respect to the electrical systems which is associated with respect to the aviation system. So there are a lot of opportunities which is available for the electrical engineers, right? Where they can look into it and then crack there. So this industry is also like having a bigger trend. By 2030, it is expected to grow by 37.265 US million USD, like million dollars. Okay. So apart from these, right, there are other sectors like automotive sectors, right, where we wanted many of the automotive things like electrical vehicles, which is more and more coming in. So we wanted to leverage the battery, and we wanted to get an advancement in the battery technologies, which is currently in place, which Tesla is recently working on for the right without a driver. They are trying to use it, and also the batteries similar to now petrol stations. There will be a lot of battery stations which will be coming in going forward, right? So that is one of the sectors which we wanted to see, where electrical engineers will be of a more fit, right? And the other sectors are like healthcare and manufacturing industries, and also the last thing is the consulting sector. Okay. So apart from these, there are the generically, right, whatever I had earlier mentioned. So every industry has the electrical engineers who has an understanding of the electrical things with the with the strong analytical things, right? We look forward for the people in the management areas also, right? With respect to management of the IPRs, which we are doing, and also the some customer documentation we wanted to provide. In even for that, we need a understanding about the electrical engineers. There also we recruit people in that areas where we can see who can have a better understanding and get a purview of our electrical systems, electronic systems, and give a purview to the customer. And even the many of the consulting sections are available in the recent markets with which we can use it. Okay. And this is a general sector. I think this in your college itself, you could have had this visibility of research, right? You can do this research within your university itself if you wanted to do a post graduation. And even within once you join the company, if you people are interested, even company provides the facilities, and they pay half of the fees, and they help you to do with your higher studies if it is more related to your area of work, right? So that research is one of the things which people can look into if people who are more interested to work in the research areas. So roles as such, overall roles with respect to the industry, right? What industry is looking majorly? Some of the key roles which I have selected here. So as you know, I have already explained in the power sector, the design engineers who can design the circuits in the software and then ensure we meet to the specifications what it is intended to with respect to the actual installation, right? And we have a project engineer who needs in the coordination aspects, right? This is one of the role which will be used for managing the activities. And also we have a, test engineer who tests with respect to the system which has been deployed, and he has to meet the quality standards as per the company, and also as per the environment, as per the and also as per the industry standards, and also the country specific standards. And system engineer is one who is technically capable of making all the integrated systems, like for example the power telecommunication system and everything in place to work together in a cohesive environment, right? And there are some sectors where field engineers who actually go into the field, and they install the system and have it tested, commissioned and testing it, and also repairing it if on need basis. This is one of the roles which is currently not currently, it is a traditional methods of roles which is available in the traditional ways. But with the recent things, right, the more and more emerging fields and different sectors, right, we wanted the engineers with the different roles altogether, right, where we wanted more specific area of focus. So with that, we wanted more specific engineers who is more specialized in the kind of specific areas like electronic systems, who can understand the electronic systems much more. And also there are power engineers who can understand much more into the renewable energy of source, and they can focus on that area, right? And similarly the controllable entities, right, control system engineers, they have a piece of hardware and also the software understanding with which they will be able to better control the systems effectively. And the telecommunication industry, which I've already communicated. So this is also one of the sectors where people might work. And RF engineer is basically the engineer who's validating the radio frequencies, right? How it is, whether it is intended to reach to the respective mobiles. They have a car with which they have to roam around with this radio, how much it is radiating, and according to that, they have to tune the frequencies and things like. Okay, so that is one of the sectors which is seen. And apart from these, right, now with the recent emerging technologies, the renewable energy engineer is more specific to renewable energies, right? We are seeing that specific role. And biomedical engineering is one of the sectors where the medical devices are coming in place, which we wanted to interact and have a visibility with respect to this medical devices sectors also, right? Where more and more electrical electronics engineers are being used. And this AML technology is one of the constant technologies which is being looked at. Initially itself, there were a lot of prototypes during my engineering graduate. Also, I have done with respect to these prototype with respect to the transformer protection technology, right? So this again, this can be applied in many sectors. How we are going to leverage the artificial intelligence technology and drive our systems into the fields. So a little bit of software understanding will help you to drive the overall electrical systems in a better fashion, right? And more intelligent algorithms will help you to drive this. And one last thing is the robotic engineers and with the robots, right? With the recent things, more and more in the hospitality department and also in the healthcare department, where we wanted to operate with the robot itself, right? So more and more sectors is getting evolved in that area as well. And yeah, so I think this I had already covered where we wanted to have, apart from these regular engineering roles, we wanted to have the overall engineering things and also leader who can manage the people of the technical things to oversee about the technical queries and across the people, and he can drive the team towards the success, right? With respect to these management roles, also we need a technical understanding with respect to the electrical and electronics, so that will help the people to know about the market better. So these are some of the roles in that area, management and leadership roles. Okay. And at last, the consultants part. So there are some many consultant teams, right? To what could be the solutions, right? One example is TCE, so they act as a consultant part, right? So even that is one of the areas where electrical engineers could be looked at. And apart from that, you can who people who are interested in the teaching perspective, right? They can go into this research and continue their education and join some lectures or professor jobs. So these are all the areas where people can work into. And to generalized view with respect to the government sectors, right? There are a lot of government sector companies also which is available in the job market, where people can attempt some of the government sector industries based on the scores. Some people are accepting the gate scores, right, with respect to MTech, and also um, these scores will help you to get into these jobs, or some of the organizations are conducting their own exams, so with which they can be able to crack it and you can get into. So this is one of the areas which you can look into. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to cover to give a overall picture. That's all from my side. Now I think we have around 10 minutes. Okay, we can have a question and answers now. Any questions, I can take it up.
Students, you can raise your queries. Professors, you can also raise your queries.
Okay, I hope there are no queries.
Okay, I hope so. There is no queries for the participants. Now we are going to conclude our section. On behalf of all students and staff, I am glad to be standing here to express my vote of thanks. A special thanks to our chief guest, Mr. H. Mohammad Imran, for accepting our invitation and for being here with us today. Your thoughts on developing our career is truly motivated and boosted us to shine in future. On
Yeah,
this note, I would like to conclude my speech and extend special thanks to our honorable management, respected professors, and respected students for making this event a memorable one. Thank you, Imran sir. Your delightful speech made to blush. Thank you.
thank you.
Now, feedback link will be posted in the comment section. Participants, kindly post your feedback. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.